Do you want to get more clients through the content you make? Like, make it a magnet where clients are just attracted to you and are like, you're speaking to me, I need you to help me. This is the video for you. My name is Alisia Krastel, and if you are all about growing your real estate business through really simple, powerful methods, you can have an amazing life. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any videos to do that. In this video, I'm going to show you a secret, about making content that is going to make it people feel like you are speaking to their soul and want no other agent but you. Once you understand how this works and you see it play out, you're gonna be like, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? It's not only worked for me, it's worked for many, many agents that I coached. It works for YouTube videos, TikTok, posts, and in person. So here we go. Print out your production for the last year or two and take about 10 clients and look, these were my favorite clients out of all this. I love them. Then you're gonna write beside them, how did I help them? What issues did they have that I helped them with? How did I make a difference in their transaction? As you go through, you might have helped someone negotiate an appraisal gap when it was too low. You might have helped someone with seller contribution. You might have helped someone see an opportunity where they got a house for under list price in a really hot market. Whatever it is that you pick, circle the ones that you're gonna do. Start with one that really gets you excited, and you're gonna think about that person. So if your clients were James and Jennifer, then you're gonna be thinking about James and Jennifer. And when you make the video or the piece of content, you are gonna be talking directly to James and Jennifer. You're not gonna use their name, and I'm gonna show you how it works. First example is I had some clients who purchased a property and we got a seller contribution even though we were in a hot market. That in of itself is a great story. So I'm going to tell this story or this post with that in mind. These are conversations we've had, so it's not like I'm making anything up, and it's really easy for your brain to tap into that and you to be very authentic because it is authentic. So how do you know when you're buying a house, which houses you can get seller contribution on and which ones it's a no-go? I'm looking for days on market, condition of the property, talking to the agent and see what kind of activity they're having. I'm looking behind on showing time to see how many showings they have. I'm looking to see if it might be a little bit overpriced to begin with. And then we're going to talk about whether that makes sense to ask for seller contribution if you're willing to risk that. And then we have a conversation to see if that makes sense for you to ask for the seller contribution and if you want to risk that, because they could say no and accept a different offer if they do get one. That's what I would post in written word with a photo or in video. There is a second layer to that though. So I got the seller contribution for these buyers. When we were negotiating the seller contribution and devising a plan and strategy to what would get us the most, they wanted $10,000, and when I looked at what we were trying to do, I thought it would be really reasonable for us to ask for 3%, which would get them $11,400, $1,400 more. I want to tell that story. The content isn't so much about the exact seller contribution. It's about the care that we're taking with our clients, and we want people to feel like, oh my gosh, she takes so much care, like she's down to figuring out what percentage would be more, how would it be received by the selling agent and the seller. That's what we're going for. And by being very specific, that builds trust with people, and it allows you to talk about things without feeling salesy. And you can tell that story in a lot of different ways. You can say how I saved my clients $1,400, or why is it so important for us as agents and clients to be talking about seller contribution and strategy with offers when you're looking at houses. It's not just fill in the blanks. And those little hooks I just used about like how I saved my client $1,400, that I have a whole video on how to use hooks. If you want to up level all the things that we're doing here, having a hook in the front of your content is going to just amplify it. I'll link that below for you. And I printed out a list of my clients so I could do this video, so I could really go through the process with you. So now I'm right there with you, and this is exactly how you would do it. I looked and I had several clients actually last year who had investment properties that they wanted to list, and they all weren't sure, like, should we update it or should we list it as is? So I went through with those folks, and I'm thinking specifically, I have 3, but I'm thinking of one, right? I'm going to think of one that I helped and what we went through. So the content might look like, how do you know whether you should list your house if it needs some work as is, or should you update it where you get the money back? This is what that looks like. I had a client in Perry Hall last month, and they wanted to list their property, but they weren't sure if they should do as is or update the house and would they get more money? Where would they get more money and where would the effort be? So I did an estimate for them with a net sheet to show how much they would actually net after the sale if they did it as is, in my opinion, right now, and if they did some updates to it, what that would look like and what it could sell for. I also went through the house and I showed them, look, if you did these couple of things, I do think it could help you get to multiple offers, even if it's not that highest amount of redoing the whole house. These are the things I think would be worth doing if you do anything. This strategy works so well because your client that had gone through that, you likely, if they're your favorite clients, want more clients exactly like them. And if your client is going through that, it is, unless you have a wildly strange transaction, there are other clients who are going to be going through the same thing or thinking the same thing, and you can attract them like that. You're talking to one person to reach many. A lot of agents feel like they have to be very broad so they don't alienate anyone. And I can tell you what happens is when you're too broad, you speak to no one. So you alienate everyone and no one feels like you're talking directly to them. Here's one I'm pretty sure that maybe you have all had, is that talking to someone about pricing their house appropriately and how that works out. I had a listing in a challenging area and I wanted to price it just a hair under market value and do some marketing tactics to help get people in and want to make offers on the property. And I told the story on Facebook and some different social medias about how I did that and how the client really had a lot of trust in me to allow me to do that, because so many people want to go a little bit higher and just see how it goes, but how their trust in me really helped me be able to get the most amount of money for their house, and how we sold it for like $20,000 over list price. Way more than what they thought they were gonna get. Those pieces of content do so many things on so many different levels. Not only is it showing your evidence of success and connecting with people, it's showing people that the trust factor in you, that someone was willing to trust, even though they weren't sure 100% if that, they didn't understand the marketing tactic 100%, but they know that you've got their back. That means a lot. And people, especially in 2023 and beyond, with the crazy market, they're gonna want trust. And when you're more specific with your content, it builds that trust more because it doesn't seem fake. To help jog your creativity with this, I'm gonna put some content ideas that aren't lame, a whole list of them, just to get your juices flowing, but know that you wanna associate those ideas to specific clients that you had, because it'll help you create the piece of content. You can get that in a link below. They'll be downloadable, it's free. Of course, I'm gonna show you some examples so you can see exactly how this plays out. I made this post and I did it in different formats too, but I had a client who came to me several months later and said, yeah, I know that you're different because of this post. And they mentioned this exact post. And this is what I'm talking about, seller contribution and getting it over list price. It's an example of how when I'm telling the story of one specific thing, it's speaking to other people and they're gravitating toward that. And just for the record, she had never commented or liked or anything that post, but when I met with her, she had mentioned it. If you're getting value out of this video, make sure you comment below. That helps me so much with growing my YouTube channel. And let me know how these work for you as you try these tactics out on your social media. It is such a small tweak, but I promise if you do these, you will reap big rewards. And remember, if you want to amplify your content and make sure you got your hook right, which is at that very beginning of your content, check out this video on hooks. I'll walk you through how to do it.